Well, blessed Friday to you as we come with your daily encouragement. And we are at 1 Peter chapter 4, beginning with verse 9. Now, yesterday we talked about maintaining love. Now we're going to talk about being hospitable to one another without complaining. Now, there's two parts to this. One part maybe is something that we could do if we are good actors, and that is to be hospitable. We could be what we call professional. I know the common euphemism among pastors is to be pastoral, and that means usually that we are a person who represents guiding people, almost like a psychologist walking with someone through difficult times. Now, maybe you do see someone as a counselor of something, and you go to them regularly because they think that they resonate with you. One of my favorite movies is the movie What About Bob with Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray. And Richard Dreyfuss is a famed psychologist. Of course, he's trying to promote his book, but he has a difficult patient, and that's Bob. And Bob will not leave him alone. And Bob is truly devoted to the psychologist, but the psychologist's acting about how he cares and loves for Bob is starting to wane as the story goes on. And of course, the irony is the flip flop is that Bob gets better, his psychologist does not, because he was acting the whole time. He was pretending to be hospitable, genuine, and loving, but he, in fact, was far from it and complained and complained and complained. That's why I look at this passage being that example of what about Bob? Early on in my Christian walk, I struggled with people that liked me, but I didn't necessarily like them. And it was a struggle to maintain that type of acknowledgement that I need to be hospitable, loving, and to lessen the complaining. Complaining is easy. It's like a virus that happens. You start noticing one thing and then it leads to another, another. Now, it sometimes gets confused with being truth and truth telling. That's the euphemism of today, right? I want to tell my story. I want to tell my truth. I want to make sure that people know my critique of things. And oh, we have many sounding boards to do that. But sometimes it can lead us away from doing the loving thing, the pastoral thing, the Christian thing, and that is welcoming difficult people or people that we view with difficulty. Not all people are difficult, and sometimes, yes, there is personalities that will not get along with each other. Boy, that's easy to have happen. And guess what? It happens in the body of Christ. It doesn't just happen in your families that are forced together. It just doesn't happen in your states where you feel outnumbered by people who think one way and you think another way. No, it happens among the closest of us. In fact, if you look at the Gospels, you'll see that Jesus had his greatest fights with the Pharisees. And theologically, believe it or not, of the Jewish subgroups, the Pharisees were the ones that Jesus was most like in many ways, especially when it come to resurrection from the dead. The Sadducees didn't believe in it, and others viewed it as speculations, but the Pharisees firmly believed that there is a life after this life. And so Jesus also fell into that camp, but he had a lot of other issues that caused them to be at loggerheads with one another and not show hospitality. In fact, it was hospitality that pushed Jesus and the Pharisees into these grudge matches. The Pharisees, by their definition, they were the separated ones. That's what the name Pharisee means, to separate, to be holy. And Jesus told them, he said, you have to draw people, not exclude people, but draw people and welcome people, not just with compassion, an occasional coin here and there, but actually at your table, at your intimate places, because they need a doctor. Your friends, they don't necessarily need a doctor, but they do. And so Pharisees show hospitality without complaining. Maintain a constant love for one another that covers a multitude of sins. Continue to do the work of a Christian, not just in actions, but also in your heart. And you say, I don't have it. And I said, that's right. We are fallen into sin, including in our love, and we cannot free ourselves. Ask for that supernatural love to fill your heart, to fill your difficulties you have with one another. God bless you today. We trust that these continue to be words of encouragement. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.